Hey guys, before we begin with this video, I just want to thank our sponsor for this video, Skillshare. Skillshare is a huge online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. I especially use it to learn new video editing skills like how to create a parallax effect or how to make intros to my video that a lot of you seem to like a lot. And video editing is not the only thing that you can learn. Skillshare has a wide variety of classes from photography, drawing, writing to music. Or maybe you just want to learn how to increase your productivity, like I do, from this amazing course by Greg McEwen called Simple Productivity: How to Accomplish More with Less. Because God, I could use some help with managing my day more efficiently and focusing on important things rather than non-essential things in life. Now, what I like about the courses on Skillshare is that they are divided in parts, so you don't have to commit 2 to 3 hours at once. So whether you are looking to fend off boredom during this lockdown, or focus on self-care through creativity, or join similarly creative community, Skillshare is the place to keep you learning. And for all you wonderful people, Skillshare is giving away 2 months of free premium membership to the first 1,000 people who click the link in the description below. And after that, it's only around $10 a month. Now without further ado, let's begin with the video.
Daniel Belling and his wife, Zhang Lei Li, lived in Clare Hall, Dublin, along with their 2 kids. Daniel worked as an IT consultant to firms such as Apple, and Zhang set up her own wedding planning business targeted at the Chinese community in the city. On February 9, 2017, the family embarked on an 11-day Mediterranean cruise trip on the ship MSC Magnifica. The ship set sail from the Italian port of Civitavecchia on February 9th and continued on to Genoa, Malta, Greece, and Cyprus. During the trip, Zhang would mysteriously disappear, never to be seen again. At the end of the trip, the crew members did a head count and realized Zhang was missing. The staff checked her cabin and found all her possessions on board, right down to her wallet, ID, and her shoes. Further investigation revealed that no record existed of Zhang disembarking the ship. The cruise ship immediately notified authorities. The police arrested Daniel on suspicions of his wife's murder at Ciampino Airport in Rome as he was about to board a Ryanair flight to Dublin. During his court proceedings, he told the judge his wife left the ship of her own volition in the Greek port of Katakolon. He said that he had quarreled the night before and she wanted to, quote, quit the trip. He said that his wife had told them that she was tired of the cruise, that she was not enjoying it, and that she wanted to get off. When the ship stopped at Katakolon, she had chosen to remain on board while her husband had gotten off with their 2 children for a day of sightseeing. When he returned to the ship with the children that evening, he found his wife had left. Daniel said that he had not immediately reported her as missing because, in the past, she'd behaved similarly, walking off during a family holiday. However, Daniel said that he had informed the cleaning personnel that 3 people were now staying in the room, not 4. He said his wife most probably ended up in China. There is a small probability that something happened to her in Greece, he says, but he believes she is in China. The police questioned the cruise ship staff, and a souvenir shop owner told authorities that she remembered the couple was in her store that morning. She said Daniel was, quote, agitated, and yelled at his wife over her shoes. The shop owner said that Daniel had handed his wife a pair of gym shoes and said, "Put these on instead of your sandals and shut up." A waitress told police that she had seen Zhang on the evening of February 10th when she, her husband, and their children had dined together at their assigned table, number 704, in the Four Winds restaurant. She did not see Zhang either at breakfast or lunch the next day. She presumed that the woman had eaten at the ship's buffet. She also told investigators that for the rest of the trip, Daniel and his 2 sons had eaten on their own, without Zhang. A cabin maid told police that she had not seen Zhang after February 9th, adding that Daniel on the 4th day of the cruise had told her not to make up the sofa as a bed since only 3 people, not 4, were sleeping in the cabin. The police checked all the cruise ship's CCTV cameras and didn't see Zhang ever leaving the ship, but they didn't find anything suspicious either. When the judge asked him to explain his wife's disappearance, Daniel at first claimed that she'd gotten off the boat for, quote, urgent business reasons. He then asserted his right to not answer questions. Daniel was also asked about his relationship with his wife. He did admit that his relationship was marked by tensions, but they never wanted to divorce or separate, he said. The judge's ruling said it was strange that Zhang did not take all of her belongings with her if and when she got off the ship, but with no evidence against Daniel, he was released from prison soon after. Daniel continues to maintain that he had nothing to do with her disappearance. There have been no updates in this case, and Zhang remains missing to this day. In the 1970s, Hugh Pham and his wife, Hugh Tran, built a new life in America after fleeing war-torn Vietnam. The couple had been together for 49 years and raised 5 children and had been retired since 2004. For Mother's Day in 2005, their children bought the couple their first vacation trip of their lives, a 7-day Caribbean cruise on the Carnival ship Destiny from Barbados to Aruba. The couple was also planning on visiting their home country, Vietnam, after the cruise was over, but they would not return from the cruise. On May 9, 2005, the couple boarded the ship Destiny and were accompanied by their daughter, Sharon, and their granddaughter. On May 12th, as they sailed towards Aruba, the couple ate dinner in the ship's dining room and then decided to go for a show. Just before midnight, the telephone in their cabin rang. It was the front desk letting Sharon know that there was something there for her to retrieve. She went to the reception desk and was handed a plastic bag. The plastic bag contained 2 pairs of flip-flops, 2 passports, driver's licenses, medications, and a man's wallet containing credit cards and several $100s in cash. Sharon confirmed that the belongings were of her father and mother. The crew said that they found the things on the deck where her parents liked to sit. Sharon immediately searched for her parents, and when she wasn't able to find them, she informed the crew about their disappearance. Following their disappearance, the crew waited for over 4 hours before notifying the U.S. Coast Guard to help them locate the missing couple. Instead, the ship just continued on course and allowed the ship to further distance itself from the location where the couple was originally reported missing. There was no announcement made as it was late and the crew did not want to disturb the other passengers. It took almost 12 hours before the search and rescue could arrive at the location of the disappearance. The search and rescue mission was called off in less than 13 hours from the presumed time of their disappearance. The couple's son, Michael, says the deck where his parents' flip-flops were found wasn't sealed off until several days later when the FBI met the ship in St. Martin. None of the passengers were ever questioned, and the ship continued on its journey. Their son Michael said that, quote, they were more focused on planning the next day's shore activities in St. Martin rather than protecting critical information and evidence pertaining to 2 of their missing passengers. The Carnival Corporation suggested that his parents may have committed suicide. The FBI also ruled it out as suicide. However, Michael denies this and said his parents had no reason to commit suicide. They lived a happy, fulfilling life and were excited about going back to Vietnam. Michael has not received any help from the cruise line, and they have failed to provide any answers. The Pham children even testified before Congress about improving safety measures on cruise ships. However, they haven't received any answers as to what actually happened to their parents. Kieran and Ornaith Murphy were an Irish couple who had moved to the United States in the 1960s. Kieran worked as an actuary for San Francisco's Employee Retirement System office, while Ornaith was an expert solo sailor. Ornaith was active in the sailing community and was an occasional contributor to sailing magazines. She owned a 1980 39-foot fiberglass auxiliary sailboat named Sola III. The vessel has dark blue circular embalms with 1 gray swirl painted on both of her sides. The couple lived in San Francisco and had 2 sons, David and Patrick. Kieran did not know how to sail, and being on the water made him seasick, but he did help with the maintenance of the boat. They had amassed a small fortune through real estate speculation. For years, Kieran and Ornaith lived a happy life, but in 2001, their marriage started to fall apart due to Kieran having an affair. The couple were in the midst of getting a divorce later in the year. Along with the potential divorce, the Murphys were also facing a potentially costly lawsuit stemming from a 1999 fire at one of their apartment complexes, which severely burned a 2-year-old girl. At the time, Kieran was living in an apartment in Nob Hill, and Ornaith had moved in with her niece in Oakland. Her boat was docked at the Oakland Marina in the Jack London Square area of the city. On December 15, 2001, both Kieran and Ornaith would vanish along with Ornaith's sailboat. Kieran was last seen at a Christmas office party on December 14th. Kieran has never been heard from again. His friends and family became concerned when he failed to report for work on December 17th, and they filed a missing persons report. It was at this point that they realized that Ornaith was also missing. Ornaith was last seen in Oakland on December 16th, the day after Kieran had gone missing. The sailboat disappeared on the same day as Ornaith and has never been located. It was found that Kieran and Ornaith had planned to meet on December 15th to discuss legal issues. Ornaith was seen working on her boat that afternoon. A witness reported seeing a man on board who was similar in appearance to Kieran. However, it was never established if he really was Kieran. Witnesses also reported hearing a loud noise coming from the boat in the evening. The witness described it as a banging noise. However, they weren't sure if the sounds were of gunshots. The boat was captured on video surveillance pulling out of the Oakland Marina at 8:36 p.m. that night. The boat was not equipped for long-distance sailing. It had about 1 week's worth of food on it when it disappeared, but no safety or foul weather gear. The next morning, Ornaith called her niece from the boat and said she was in the marina in Berkeley. Her niece invited her to breakfast, but Ornaith declined the invitation. No one ever heard from Kieran or Ornaith again. Kieran's friends say that Kieran was planning on a trip to Mexico after Christmas. The couple's sons say it would be uncharacteristic of them to leave without warning. One theory suggests that Ornaith shot Kieran and then committed suicide shortly afterwards. However, there is no evidence to support this theory. Neither of the couple's credit cards or bank accounts have been used since their disappearances. They have remained missing for 18 years. Marie Empress was born Mary Ann Louisa Taylor in Birmingham, England in 1884. She started acting on the British vaudeville stage in the 1900s. She achieved her success as an actress in early American motion pictures, often cast as the vampire woman. She was once considered the most beautiful woman in the world and one of the best male impersonators in the business. On October 16, 1919, Marie embarked on an 11-day transatlantic journey from Liverpool to New York. It stopped in Halifax and then continued to New York. When it arrived in New York, Marie Empress was nowhere to be seen. Her belongings were still in her stateroom and none of the passengers or crew saw her leave the ship. The ship was searched entirely 3 times, but she was nowhere to be found. A stewardess came forward and said she had brought dinner to Empress's stateroom on their last evening at sea and returned to clear the dishes at 6:30 p.m. Marie had told her to come back later at 9:30 p.m. with sandwiches. When the stewardess returned, Empress wasn't there, so the stewardess left the sandwiches for her. When she checked the room in the morning, the sandwiches had not been touched and the bed had not been slept in. The stewardess said Marie was entirely dressed in black during the voyage, including a little hat with a big veil. Other witnesses said she was in a good mood throughout the journey, saying she'd boarded the ship, quote, as lively as a cricket and was looking forward with enthusiasm to another season among her American friends. In her room, a copy of a telegram that she'd sent to a New York hotel was found, which said, quote, arrive Monday, please have room for me. Her room only had one porthole, which was 13 inches wide, far too small for a woman of Marie's build to pass through it. It was also found to be locked from the inside, so it isn't possible that she jumped off through the porthole. She would have had to walk through numerous corridors and salons full of other passengers to get to the deck, and the actress was of striking personality to have gone unnoticed, but no one had seen her. She would have also had to pass by various stewards and officers, and it seems unlikely that she slipped unnoticed to the deck and threw herself over. For some time, the press labeled the disappearance as a publicity stunt and said that she would return eventually. In the past, she had done this several times. She kept strange company and disappeared for months at a time from public view, making it a possible explanation. However, she never claimed her trunk, which, after resting unclaimed for a month in New York, was sent back to Liverpool. Besides her disappearance, her life was cloaked in mystery as well. She had many names throughout her life, but none were real. She never once provided the name of a family member as a point of contact on a ship's manifest, despite having crossed the Atlantic more than a dozen times. As it turns out, Marie was born Mary Ann Louisa Taylor in Birmingham, England in 1884. In 1902, she married a dentist, becoming Mary Ann Louisa Horton, but the couple separated soon after. Besides this, not much is known about her personal life. Her movies have all been lost, and although she performed several songs, none seem to have been recorded. Only a few old photos and newspaper clippings are left to remember her by. She was declared legally dead in 1921. The cause of death was jumped overboard, presumed drowned.